Assalamualaikum. Today our group will present about the relationship between employees working night shift, flexible work arrangement and work stress on employees' mental health.
This is our group members.
I will start with introduction of our research. Mental health has become a major concern in today's fast-paced work environment. Employees face increasing pressure from non-standard work hours, especially night shift, unpredictable workloads, and even flexible arrangements that, while beneficial, may also blur the boundary between work and personal life. This study aims to explore how night shift, flexible work arrangement, and work-related stress influence mental health among Malaysian employees. Specifically, we seek to answer the three key questions, which is how do night shift affect mental health, how does stress influence well-being, and what is the relationship between flexible work arrangement and employees' mental health. With this, we hope to offer better understanding and practical insight for both employees and employers.
I will briefly the literature review for our study, which focus on the relationship between employees' mental health, night shift, work-related stress, and flexible work arrangements, or FWAs. Workplace mental health is a growing concern, with increasing awareness that stress and irregular work hours can negatively affect employee well-being and productivity. Negative impacts and night shift and work stress studies show that night shift disrupts sleep cycles, increase isolation, and lead to burnout, especially in healthcare setting. From the Chen et al. 2025 found that night shift significantly increased the risk of mental health issues due to occupational burnout. Similarly, work-related stress caused by higher workloads, poor support, and unrealistic deadlines affect 81% of employees' mental health. From the Mental Health America 2023, this leads to anxiety, low morale, and high turnover. Positive impact, flexible work arrangement. In contrast, FWAs such as remote work or flexible hours can help reduce stress and improve mental well-being. My ending 2023 reported that FWAs lower depression rates and improve work-life balance, job satisfaction, and loyalty. However, they must be managed properly to avoid new issues like isolation or blurred work-life boundaries. To summarize, three key relationships were identified. H1, night shift negatively affect mental health. H2, work-related stress negatively affect mental health. H3, FWS positively influence mental health. These findings support the need for organization to design healthier work structure that protect employees' mental well-being.
For this research, we used a quantitative approach to investigate the relationship between night shift work, flexible work arrangement, work-related stress, and employees' mental health. We collected primary data through a structured questionnaire, which was covered by four main areas, which is night shift work, work-related stress, flexible work arrangement, and employees' mental health, using a 5-point Likert scale to measure responses. Demographic information such as age, gender, and job status was also collected. In addition, we use secondary data from academic journals, books, and trusted online sources. This helped us to build a strong theoretical foundation, design relevant survey questions, and compare our findings with past research. Combining both survey and secondary data enabled us to get a more accurate and well-rounded understanding of the topic.
My name is Nur Shazana binti Mustafa. My matric number is 162286. Let me briefly present the demographic profile of the 61 respondents who participate in the survey. First, in terms of age, most of our respondents are young adults, especially those between 24 to 34 years old, followed by those aged 18 to 24. This shows that our data mostly reflect the views of the younger working generations. Next, looking at the gender, the majority of our respondents are female and most of them are Malay. When it comes to marital status, we see a fairly balanced mix with nearly half being married and a large number also single. A small portion of respondents are widows and widowers. In terms of education and job status, the majority are well educated, with most having a bachelor's degree. Most of them are also employed full-time and work under a shift system, showing a stable and structured work environment. We also found that many respondents are employed in the private sector, especially in the fields of banking, finance, and IT. For religion, most of the respondents are Islam, making up the majority of our sample. In terms of work experience, many respondents have been with their current job for 1 to 2 years, showing a mix of new and early career professionals, with a few more experienced ones as well. Lastly, looking at the income level, most of them earn a mid-range salary between 3,000 ringgit to 5,000 ringgit per month. Only a small number earn above or below that range. Next, this slide shows the result of the reliability analysis for the independent variables in our study that performed using SPSS. Cronbach alpha was used to assess the internal consistency of the items. As shows, work-related stress had the highest reliability at 0.810, followed by night shift work at 0.708. Flexible work regimen is 0.685 and mental health with 0.656. Although some values are slightly below the typical 7.70, all are above 0.50. This indicates that each scale demonstrates acceptable reliability and no items need to be removed.
Good day everyone, my name is Nofriza Anis binti Jaafar and I will talk about analysis of correlation. In this study, a Pearson correlation test was used to examine the relationship between 4 main factors: mental health, working night shift, work-related stress, and flexible work arrangement. The findings show that all the relationship between the variables were positive and significant at p-value 0.1, meaning that these factors are closely connected. Firstly, mental health was found to be significantly related to working night shift, work-related stress, and flexible work arrangement. This means that the people who work night shift experience more stress or have a flexible working condition or are more likely to report changes in their mental health. However, a positive correlation does not mean one factor causes the other. It simply shows that these variables tend to increase together. Secondly, working night shift also show positive relationship with work-related stress and flexible work arrangement. This suggests that night shift workers are more likely to feel stress, and in response, employees might offer a more flexible work option to support them. Lastly, there was a strong connection between work-related stress and flexible work arrangement. This implies that employees who are more stressed may be given or may seek flexible work option as a way to manage their stress level. So in summary, the result indicate that mental health at work is closely linked to job schedule and stress level, and that flexible work arrangement could play an important role in supporting employee well-being. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. My name is Nabila Aisha Abdul Aziz and I will explain for both descriptive analysis and multiple regression. In our study, we use descriptive analysis to summarize the data using 2 key measures, the mean and standard deviation. The mean helps us understand the average value for each variable, while the standard deviation shows the variability of responses. For flexible work arrangement, the mean was 2.96, indicating moderate satisfaction with work flexibility. Mental health had a mean of 2.89, suggesting a stable but moderate well-being among employees. Work-related stress had a mean of 2.75, reflecting moderate stress, while working night shifts had the lowest mean of 2.70, showing dissatisfaction even though it's not too much extreme. The standard deviation for mental health was 0.739, indicating moderate variability, whereas working night shifts showed higher variability with a standard deviation of 0.879, meaning experiences varied widely. Work-related stress had a standard deviation of 0.789 and flexible work arrangement had a standard deviation of 0.778, indicating less variation in perception of flexibility. This analysis gave us a clear overview of employees' perception, with flexible work arrangement rated the highest, and work-related stress and night shifts showing more variability. We then used multiple regression analysis to test the relationship between independent variables, which are working night shift, work-related stress and flexible work arrangement, and the dependent variable, which is mental health. For H1, we hypothesized that working night shift would negatively impact mental health, but the regression results showed a positive beta coefficient, which is 0.509, leading to the rejection of H1. Similarly, for H2, the relationship between work-related stress and mental health was also not negative, with positive beta coefficient 0.572, resulting the rejection of H2. However, for H3, which hypothesized that flexible work arrangement would have a positive effect on mental health, was supported by a positive beta coefficient 0.431, meaning H3 was accepted. In conclusion, the regression analysis confirmed that while night shifts and work-related stress did not have the expected negative impact, flexible work arrangements positively influence employees' mental health. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, I am Nazira. I will discuss discussion and conclusion. Firstly, our research hypothesis revealed mixed results. Hypothesis 1 and 2 were rejected. Although night shift work and work-related stress correlated with mental health, they did not show a statistically significant negative in regression analysis. This could suggest that coping mechanisms or organizational support may help buffer the negative effects. However, hypothesis 3 was accepted. Flexible work arrangements were found to have a significant positive influence on employees' mental health, aligning with prior literature that highlights their role in reducing burnout and enhancing well-being. Based on these findings, we recommend that organizations actively promote flexible work options, maintain supportive environment, and monitor the mental health of shift workers. There are some limitations. The sample was relatively small and skewed toward certain sectors, and because the study was cross-sectional and relied on self-reported data, the results may not generalize fully. In conclusion, while the effects of night shifts and work stress are complex, flexible work arrangements clearly support health mental. More targeted research is needed to understand how workplace dynamics influence well-being in different contexts. That's all from me. Thank you.